Hi, my name is Levi. My name is Patrick, and we're going to be talking about The Dark Knight. So Batman Begins came out in 2005, and when was the first notion we had that there was going to be another one?
I remember I was in the library of our high school with some friends, and I remember hearing about how the sequel was going to be in 2008, and this would have been in 2006. So then I remember doing the math and thinking that we'll have graduated high school and have already been a year in college by the time we were to see this new Dark Knight movie. And it was like my first concept of like time and then how much weight it would be, where it's like, I want this thing to come out so I can watch it, but then when that happens, my life would be drastically different.
When they released the picture of Heath Ledger, just like with his makeup,
Yeah.
like the not really black and white with a little bit of red, not a whole lot of color, really close up. It was like, oh, okay, so that's what it's gonna be like.
Yeah.
Because when they announced it was Heath Ledger, I was like, he's gonna be the Joker?
I remember that picture, and it was like a low angle, and you're looking up at him.
We were in the journalism room over by the teacher's computer when I first saw it. I don't know who had it, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole campaign for that movie was awesome because I remember, like at Comic-Con that year, I think it was Comic-Con, they like had actors kidnap people and they were leaving like calling cards with like the Joker, and that led to like a website. And then for like the entire month of October, there was this website with like a little candle and like a pumpkin, I think, and it was like the pumpkin was rotting and the candle was going down each day. And then at the end, they released a picture of the Joker, which is
On Halloween?
Yeah, on November 1st. I think it was Halloween. But anyway, there's a picture of the Joker that's actually not in the movie. It's like him sitting in the back of a car going like this or something, like with his fingers. And it's like from the front passenger.
Would that have been the one where he's sticking his head out?
No, because he's wearing his full-on thing.
Huh.
There is a deleted scene in the script after Rachel and Batman fall out the window where the Joker says something to the henchman as like a getaway. But I don't know if they filmed it. But that picture looks like it would be from that scene.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
That's cool. So when did the first the teaser trailer come out? Would that have been late 06 or was that going to be 07 already?
It was 07.
Well, we weren't even in high school at all when the teaser came out.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, okay.
No, wait.
Yeah, we were. I remember being in some of those rooms.
No, we weren't. Because that whole October thing that we just talked about was in college. I remember being in Mankato at someone else's apartment.
No way.
Yeah, no way.
I remember standing in the high school looking at that picture of Heath Ledger. We were all in the journalism classroom.
But that doesn't make sense. Because we graduated in 07, and then we came out in July of 08.
Yeah.
So the teaser did not come out 2 years before the movie.
That's
The
valid.
teaser was in the like July or August of 07. Then that awesome trailer with the Joker reveal was December. We were in college during that whole viral marketing thing. Hence the first story I just told, which is it was going to come out a year after college.
Memory's a funny thing, man.
Yeah. It's called The Dark
I
Knight.
swear to God, we were talking to Tyler in the journalism room about that picture.
Well, maybe the picture of the Joker came out way before. But I know the teaser where it's like the bat symbol's breaking up and then you hear the Joker's laugh. That was in the fall after we had graduated. So then, after that, there was another like website countdown thing where it was like a clown, like a theater, you know, like a carnival. And if people found like the code in the website, and then when it opened, it was like the trailer, the first trailer. And I watched that trailer so many times. I didn't memorize. My girlfriend then at the time, and I had my eyes closed, and she was watching it, and then I could do every single sound effect, even like the whoo of like the trailer scenes changing.
Yeah.
But that was back when it was QuickTime, so you had to like load the trailer when you were at school, pretty much, so then you could come home and watch it, and sometimes it didn't work.
Yeah. But our computer was slow enough that the video would be loading and loading, but if anything else happened on the computer, when you went to click the video, it was just audio and the screen was just black. Apple.com, you go over to like trailers, all the trailers, like 3 pages of them. Yeah, I used that for years. Yeah, I watched both of those trailers so many times.
And then, I remember there was like, getting close to the release date, you and I would go to the gym together.
Yep. Yeah, that was
Doesn't
08.
happen. Well, why was I back back so much? I was just home for the summer.
Yeah.
Did I live at home?
I don't know. You must have.
Yeah. Anyway, so we were working out. I remember there were like 13 or 16 TV spots, and there was a website, I forget which one, that had them all in a row. And I was watching those, and then we were working out one day, and this guy was there, and he heard us arguing about The Dark Knight. And then remember he had some sort of like weird opinions about. It wasn't a Marvel versus DC thing.
No, I'm pretty sure it was Aladdin versus Sleeping Beauty. Isn't that when we had that argument? Somebody else came over.
No, it was the guy with glasses, big dude. I feel like he had a red shirt, and he was arguing about. We were arguing about The Dark Knight.
Yeah. About the scene with the.
Oh boy, here we go. Okay.
Is that what he came over when?
I don't know.
About? Okay,
But
I don't remember this guy at all.
I think we hadn't seen the movie yet. Doesn't matter. Anyway, speaking of that, there is a scene. One of the clips that came out.
Yeah, they released. It was from somewhere in Europe that it was released, right? Because they had cut things out of it. And it was just the Joker at the party.
No, it was. Yeah, well, no, it was a clip. It was a promotional clip for a different country. Mm-hmm. And it was that scene of him coming in.
So the part where he takes the glass out of the lady's hand, and liquid flies everywhere, and he goes to drink it, and there's nothing.
Yeah, so you're already doing the motion wrong. This was part of the argument. He grabs it and pulls it straight up.
Yeah,
so
he takes it out of her hand.
No, see, he doesn't do that. He doesn't go across.
Well, maybe it was.
No, okay. So the point is that it's like Heath Ledger is like very meticulous about the Joker. We all know like the stayed in a hotel and wrote a diary thing, and whatever. Okay, and so it looks like he throws it out. So then when he takes a drink, it's empty, as if it's like a character choice. I'm not saying like that the Joker himself is like, haha, I'm gonna do this to mess with people, but Heath Ledger himself got rid of it and then still took the drink anyway because it's just ridiculous. It's just like a little detail that's ridiculous.
I don't think that his point would have been to be funny in a ridiculous way. I think he was pulling it out of her hands and there was nothing in it, so he just, then moved on with his thing. Like he was gonna take somebody's drink and drink it, but when he took it, it sloshed out, and when he went to drink it, there really wasn't anything.
Okay, here are some points that I've never thought of before until right now. One, they probably did that multiple takes, okay? And so it was like a happy accident. And two, if he was to actually drink something, you'd think maybe his makeup would run, maybe? Because if he's drinking it all slovenly...
Well, he's not pouring it into his mouth.
Well, if he's violently ripping out of someone's hands, in the way he drinks it, I feel like it would... You know? Anyway, the point is I think it was an intentional decision. And so if you know exactly what we're talking about, you should tell us, because...
If it was a happy accident or...
Yeah. Yeah, and then it came out, and you were in line. We saw it in Marshall, Minnesota, the Marshall 6 Theater, which didn't that change its name?
No. Unless it did it within the past year or two, and I have no idea.
Anyway, I was with my girlfriend, and we weren't running late. But I was wearing a Batman shirt. She was wearing my old... Remember, I haven't thought of this shirt in years. That yellow Batman shirt, where it was all yellow and the bat symbol was black.
Oh, okay.
I had it since I was a kid. Oh, you don't care. Anyway,
I just don't remember.
she wore that, and I was wearing a different Batman shirt. But the Batman shirt was a little too small. Was that a thing?
I don't know.
Anyway, you were already in line.
Yeah, for a long time.
And you and Spencer were there, and you got like the Domino's Dark Knight pizza.
Yep, we had them deliver it to the theater. The theater is not like in a mall, some crazy big city thing. It's just like the corner, and there's a building there, and there's a theater. You can just pull up literally right next to the theater door. It's just right there. So we were just sitting like on the sidewalk, right outside the door, right next to the street. Domino's came and gave us our Dark Knight pizza. I don't remember how long we waited in line, but we were the first ones there, as per usual.
Yeah. Although now, like waiting in line for movies isn't really, it's not really like a thing anymore.
Well, we are in a very large city. People who wait in line for movies around here probably do it for like 3 days, but no, it's not a thing anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's because you can get your tickets, you can reserve your seats. And then also they don't do midnight showings anymore. That was a huge part of our lives growing up, was midnight showings.
Oh yeah.
I remember there was, before I saw the movie, the ending leaked of The Dark Knight.
Really?
Mm-hmm. and I started watching it, and I stopped. Probably the strongest will I've ever had in my life. But it was blurry, obviously, because that was back when someone like was recording in the theater.
Oh,
which
yeah.
I'm sure they still do. Yeah. And so it started with the SWAT team breaching the wall at the end, and then it cuts to the shot of the Joker. He's already fighting Batman, and he runs over and he's like hitting him with a crowbar. So I saw those two things before I turned it off.
Oh well, they had like the whole.
They had the whole ending.
I was just thinking about him talking to Gordon.
No, it was Actually, that's a good question. I don't know if it was all the way through the Two-Face stuff.
15-minute.
Right, or more. Because they still would have to go through the boats and deciding, and then the speech at the end where he's upside down, and then Harvey Dent stuff, and then the whole like.
So like half an hour.
Yeah, so I wonder if it was the whole thing or if it was just the Joker's ending. But anyway, I didn't watch it. But I knew that the Joker beat someone with a crowbar at the end of the movie.
I remember having a conversation about what the hell is the plot? We have no idea what the plot is. What's the Joker's plan? What is the point? Like what's the whole movie leading up to? And nothing from the trailers gave it away.
Yeah.
The trailers are really good at giving everything away.
Yeah.
But like the party scene where the Joker's at the party with the glass, like
The intentional glass.
Where in the movie is that?
No, I remember talking about that because and then the plot description was like Batman tries to stop the Joker or something like that.
Yeah.
And what's funny is that's kind of what it ended up being.
Yeah. There is no like, oh, the Joker is going to destroy all of Gotham with a bomb.
What's also really interesting about the movie is Rachel Dawes dies. Like the main love interest dies, like not halfway, a little over halfway through the movie. And
yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I feel like I had read theories about that or something online that she was gonna die, or people wanted her to die. Not like Maggie Gyllenhaal, but like the character. And it is really interesting that she like just straight up blows up.
So then we all saw it at midnight, and we got our seats in the very back of the theater.
Yep, and oh man, one of the best movie theater experiences ever because the crowd was incredible. And then also, I feel like we were at that right enough age where it was like when people were reacting to things audibly, it was like cool. Whereas I feel like now, if I went and saw it at midnight,
what are you doing? Laugh in your heads.
Yeah,
Don't clap.
It does. It kind of annoys me when people laugh really hard at something funny, even if it's really funny, because it's like, well, now I can't hear what they're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just remember, I think the moment that seared into my brain watching that movie is the pencil trick. You know, everyone knows the pencil trick, but when he did that slam, the whole audience was just like, ah! Because it was so awesome. Yeah, I saw it 7 times in theaters.
Pretty sure I saw it 7. It might be 6, but I'm pretty sure I saw it 7.
I didn't know that. So midnight showing.
Yeah.
With my parents.
Okay. I'll wait.
Yeah. At work for free once. The job I had clients and he wanted to go see it. IMAX.
IMAX, yep, we did that one.
Yep. And then there's 3 more in there, but I know for a fact it was 7 because it's my record.
I saw it with my brother. I love him to death. But when we were watching it, the Joker gets captured, by Gordon. Like, oh, and now he's in jail. So my brother was like, if the Joker escapes from jail and this movie gets even longer, I'm going to be upset.
That's really frustrating. Because I feel like the movie wasn't long enough.
Yeah. I was very disappointed and heartbroken with my brother. Man, I don't remember who else from that first year of college was still living in Marshall at that time. Because I know I saw it with a group of people that wasn't you. And I know that when I went individually, like Sam and I, it was just him. And then Christy and I, it was just the 2 of us. But who else did I go and see it in groups with? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm sure I went to it with my parents. I'm sure I did. There's no way I would have been like, oh, I guess you guys don't have to see this movie in theaters. Like, I would have drugged them to it.
No, I remember YouTube was around, obviously, and coming home, I would just watch the Joker's clips back to back.
Oh, yeah.
Like, obviously I love the whole movie, but it was just like, someone did like a cut on YouTube of just like all the scenes, and I would just watch them over and over.
Yeah, I would sit in my dorm on my computer and just go load all of them on YouTube. I didn't watch the whole one with all of them. I would go and find the scenes and like load them until they were good quality and fully loaded.
Right.
So they didn't like freeze halfway through.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe I was just watching the scenes individually.
Yeah, I had a bunch of windows open.
Yeah. So I remember thinking it was funny. We go back to talking about Rachel Dawes a little bit, where she says a line that's like a joke in the movie, where she's like, "Oh, you're Gotham's district attorney if you're not getting shot at? You're not doing your job right. It's like her boss in the first one gets shot and murdered, and that would have been not too long ago. Like maybe
in this world, yeah.
Maybe a year. I guess how long does it take between Batman Begins and The Dark Knight? Like, is there anything in the movie that would be indicative of time passage? Like, it opens, right, with the cool shot of the city and the mayor's on TV talking, and he's like, what do you know of the Batman? And he's like, oh, we're working on it. And then the guy's like, the investigation is ongoing, and throws the thing. It's like, is there any kind of timeline? It has to be relatively recent, because the mob is still pseudo in power, but they're losing power.
Yeah. Well, I have no idea. I was just going to say that Batman and Gordon were getting pretty chummy at the end of Begins, and then this one they're like just fine with being pals. So I'm sure that it wouldn't even need a whole lot of time to pass to occur. But
because it'd be pretty easy to become friends with Batman if he was on your side. It's pretty quick.
Yeah, pretty quick. Especially if it was helping you solve crimes.
We went and saw it on IMAX. There's this in Minnesota. There's like the Minnesota Zoo.
Yeah,
like
the zoo has the IMAX.
Yeah, and I remember we got there. Again, I don't think you could reserve tickets.
No,
we were sitting too far to the left.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So then on the way back, we stopped at Taco Bell. It was a group of us, and we got into an argument about. So everyone on the internet, this is something that people talk about when at the end, Gordon is like, 5 dead, 2 of them cops. Yeah, talking about Dent, and so then that's why Batman is like, well, I can be that guy. I can be a murderer, right? And so we were trying to figure out who the people were that they were talking about, because we were thinking maybe it's the cops in the hospital. So Dent shoots Falcone's driver, okay, and then...
Are they including Falcone?
But I don't know, if he dies, it'd be off screen, which seems like you wouldn't do that because it's a big character. So anyway, he for sure shoots Falcone and this guy in the back of the head. He for sure shoots Wirtz, the old bald guy at the bar, okay. Ramirez, he just knocks out, okay. And then when Falcone is getting into the car, Dent, you could see on the side of the screen grabbing and pulling a guy. Okay, but I don't, maybe he flipped a coin and killed him. Anyway, and then doesn't the Joker shoot a cop in the hospital? Dent escapes the hospital and he had 2 cops with him guarding the door because the one's outside like, come in, come in. He runs back in and that cop's
Davis.
Yeah, presumably dead. So that's 2 of them cops, but then he kills Wirtz. Did they not know Wirtz was dead yet? Anyway, the point is, it's hard to figure out. Well, one of our friends was saying how maybe when he hit Ramirez with a gun, that she had a brain injury and died or something, like hemorrhage. And we were like,
we're trying to figure this out, and I understand that speculation is alright, but you can't say that that is one of the 5 purely through speculation.
Yeah, because then the point is that it's like you could make up anything. Like the audience, okay, this is the age-old argument people have. The audience has to fill in gaps, right? Like if a character appears, like he's talking in a mall, and then the next scene he's at his house. It's like, okay, he obviously got in his car and drove there. Even if they're continuing the same conversation, like the audience fills in the gaps. But like you can't just make up entire plot points outside of it, because otherwise you could just make up a whole entire movie within a movie.
Yeah.
I would be like, Harvey Dent, while Batman was in Hong Kong, Harvey Dent went to the Florida Keys and had a vacation. You're like, I guess, maybe?
I can't tell you you're wrong.
Yeah, it's like that, anything that can be asserted without evidence can be disproved without evidence, but at the same time can still be asserted. So someone could just make up anything. And so sometimes it is hard to find that line, right? Just keeping in the realm of Batman, The Dark Knight Rises, a lot of people have a problem with him appearing in the city after getting out of the prison. But it's like, he's Batman,
Anyway. Just flew in at night.
I'm like,
can you just prove it?
Yeah, like an airline. They're like, welcome to Gotham, we'll be landing in 25 minutes. Just in the back.
It's not what
Gotta make that giant bat flame. Run out of time here. At the beginning, Batman, Bruce Wayne, is talking to Lucius, and he's like, what do you need this stuff for? And he's like, I'm playing this one pretty close to the chest. Okay.
Yes.
Then there's a line later when Gordon is found out to be alive, and he opens up the back of the SWAT vehicle, and Dent is like, Gordon. It's like, you do like to play things to the chest. And that line, and the way it's delivered, makes it sound like it's a callback to the other line.
Yep.
But it's 2 totally different characters.
Yep.
So I've always wondered that.
After that movie came out, I knew every single one of the Joker's lines, and I would quote him endlessly. I would just go through his lines, even if I was just laying in bed at night, just like saying all his lines alone to myself.
That's something the Joker would do. A little crazy.
No, I'm not.
Oh, I'm just kidding. No, we always have, like, the Joker, we always think it's funny to imagine kind of what he does on his own. Like, I know we just argued about, you can't just make up stuff, but the Joker has to eat, right? Like, the Joker has to use the restroom. Maybe he doesn't have to shower, but you think at some point
I'm sure
he would be like, okay, I need to shower.
Sure.
And then
reapplies all his makeup.
Right.
That was a detail in the movie that I love. Is like by the time the interrogation room, he's getting out of jail, it's just like running off. You can see so much skin.
Yeah.
And then when he's about to burn the pile of money, his makeup's all fresh and crisp.
Yeah.
It's like, that's awesome because he got out and boom, he's back, fully in action of himself.
Yeah.
That was great.
I actually just watched a behind the scenes thing, and Christopher Nolan was talking about how Heath Ledger wanted to put some of the makeup on himself, so then it added like there was makeup on his fingertips in a lot of scenes, especially in the hospital one. Speaking of the hospital scene, it is hilarious where it's like the Joker comes in and Harvey Dent's just like looking at this nurse, and he's like, and then he takes off his mask and he's like, it's like, who did you think this was? You know? That's a quote we say all the time, is when Dent is laying in bed and he's talking to Gordon, he's like, what was that name they had for me down in internal affairs? And then Gordon's like, I don't remember. Say it! Yeah. Say it! Like, we always say that all the time. It's so cool that they put Two-Face in the same movie. I feel like when it was announced that Harvey Dent was in it, and I could just be making this up, but thinking that the idea would be he would be Two-Face in the next one. And then the fact that he was just Two-Face in this one and kind of did the full story. Yeah. And it was like the perfect amount of story.
Oh, lines and using movie quotes in everyday life, especially from the hospital scene. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to make up a random situation now, but like there are times where I say, hi, just like that, to people. And nobody ever gets it. They're ever like, oh, that's how the Joker said it. But like, I say it that way.
I just had this was an interesting thing about lines in the movie. When Batman is talking to the Joker in the interrogation room, the Joker is like, blah, 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 and then Batman's like, you're garbage, who steals from money? And it's like, it's funny to think that Batman calls him garbage. Like, that's his insult. It's like, you're garbage. You know, it just seems so, like, direct and funny. What's so cool about the movie is all the different scenes that are, like, cross-cut. Like, I feel like that's Christopher Nolan's kind of thing. And The Dark Knight is full of just, like, amazing moments where it's just, like, music's building in the scene where, like, they're driving. Especially in, like, the,
Mount the curb!
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. And then Gordon and the, But another moment that I really love is the build-up to the Joker arriving at Harvey Dent's campaign party at Wayne Penthouse. Just, like, the way it's all come together, and Batman's, like, grabs Dent, and while he's doing that, it's like the judge is blowing up, and then Gordon's like, wait! To, like, the commissioner's bottle, and then, like, the shot, and then he's like, it culminates with Bruce Wayne saying, like, he's here, and then the elevator doors open, and it's like, and, like, the music stops.
Yes, and then the scene continues on its own without, like, cut stuff.
Right. Yeah, it's just the build-up of that, like, and I used to listen to the soundtrack when I was driving, and that was a track I would listen to all the time, just like that build-up. It was so good.
Years later, what would this have been? 2012, 2013? Yes, I was in grad school, and we were doing readings, and like 5 other people and myself were going to be reading things we wrote. And I was the one to go and introduce the whole fiction/poetry reading. And so I went up there and I was like, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment. And nobody got it! Nobody got it. Or they just didn't react to it. They were probably like, that movie's so old.
Well, I guess, did you want them to be like, you're giving a speech.
They could have at least smiled. They were just like, we know. But I was just so happy. I was like, I'm going to use that line. And then I got no reaction.
No, that similarly, and I was holding this guy hostage in, like, the basement, and I was like, are you the real Batman? And he didn't get that I was just doing a bit from The Dark Knight.
Well, his name wasn't Brian Douglas.
That's true. He didn't commit.
Quotes that I think about a lot are actually that scene, the "Tell us your name."
Yeah. Oh yeah. Look at me. That's another one. Apparently, we just really like shouting in like a funny way, because it is. It'll be like if you're
Rachel.
Yeah. Like if you're doing something, it's like, hey, look at it. Like, look at it.
It's true. It's true.
One thing that I would like to talk about that everyone talks about is like the Joker's plans, I guess, because it's like he does this whole speech in the hospital where he's like, you know, you're schemers. Like Gordon's got plans, you've got plans. Look how that turned out. And he's like, I don't have any plans. Like look what I did with a couple of gallons of gasoline and some bullets. But then it's like every single thing is meticulously planned. And so I wonder if when Christopher Nolan and his brother, and I guess David Goyer helped write the story, when they were coming up with it, was it like that was an idea that they had together, which was he's going to be this super planner, but his plans just come across as like whatever. Because there's so many things that you would have to do. Just like a little example is getting into the mayor where they try to shoot the mayor, like getting in the uniform, getting his cronies into the lineup, like tying up those cops and whatever. It's like they had to know where the cops were.
Yep.
They had to know the proper maneuvers. Like there's a theory online that the Joker used to be in like the military or like a police officer, and that's how like he was aware of all this stuff. Oh, you know that?
I mean, I forget things all the time.
Yeah, well, it's a cool theory, but whatever. And so it's like that, even just that specific moment would require so much planning, but it was supposed to be on the fly because it was for Gordon's death that he didn't know was going to happen because it was faked, and so then he just decided we'll take this opportunity to kill the mayor, but then it's like, when would he have planned it?
Well, you know, it could have been like 2 hours leading up to it where he sees a bunch of cops like going to get their like dress uniform on or whatever, and he's just like, let's go get them, and then they go do that.
Yeah, but what was he just like waiting outside? Like,
well, maybe he already had his makeup off, you know,
right,
because he was going to blend into the crowd. Maybe he was just going to be in the crowd on the side of the street and just go up behind him or something.
Oh, that's cool.
But probably, are there any other points in the whole movie where he's like, I don't plan things out? I don't think so. I think he probably just gave that speech to Two-Face because he wanted him to go do bad things instead of good. That was probably his goal. He's like, I'm going to plan to talk to Harvey about doing things, you know, to Gotham's White Knight.
Yeah. A lot of his plans. Oh wait, you got something?
Something different. Continue.
Okay. A lot of his plans were like, there's a lot of luck involved. Like the cell phone in the stomach of the dude with the bomb. It's like he had to. What if no one was in the room with him and he never got his phone call? Would the bomb have just gone off? But if it did, he'd still be trapped in the room. And then also it's like, Gordon is like, he wanted me to put him in the MCU to get to WoW. And then it's like, well, what if they hadn't? What if they put him somewhere else?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but then, it's like, that's not really a plot hole. That's more of just like, the Joker's crazy and he'd be willing to just go to jail. It's like, it didn't work. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and I guess part of his going to jail was to talk to Batman, right?
Well, he wouldn't have known Batman would have been there.
I think anytime the Joker would be caught by anybody, Batman would show up because Batman's chasing him all over.
He like gets arrested in like some town in Idaho, and Batman's like, just hold him there! Hold him there!
So much of The Dark Knight, the first time seeing it, well, even every time seeing it, but especially the first time seeing it, just was like so new and so awesome in like I haven't seen anything like this before.
Yeah.
And so many things, so many movies are like that, obviously, you know, as time goes on. But the music of The Dark Knight is so good, and not just like, you know, the opening, you know, like the suspenseful, like these long drawn out, you know, it's not like music that's doing, you know, like stuff and then like boom moments. It's like the music just permeates the whole scene and grows and grows and grows, and that was like the feeling of these scenes as that happens was very new, I felt. Because even Batman Begins, you know, the music like is almost more traditional movie music in a way where
yeah, well, except for like the bat wing sound thing.
Okay, well, the cho-cho-cho still isn't a
Right. Yeah.
for minutes.
Yeah, the opening track is like 6 minutes of that, isn't it? Why So Serious or something?
Yeah. But my point was, when we first, the mob, when they're talking to Lau on the TV, and when the Joker starts laughing, and the music kicks in, and it's like, we're seeing the back of the Joker for a moment, and like, oh, there he is, his face coming in. Not that we didn't see his face in the beginning for a minute, but like the lighting was different.
Yeah.
So seeing him in his purple with his makeup all done, as he's coming into this room, talking with that music was so cool. It was like, oh my god, this is the most unique thing that's happened to me in ages.
Yeah, and I think they were talking. A lot of people online have been talking about how the Joker is kind of like the shark in Jaws, where it's like he just shows up, and that's actually something I feel like I remember reading where Hans Zimmer was talking about how, and James and Howard, that they want to have like a 2-note thing for the Joker, kind of like Jaws, where it was just like this very basic like whatever. The music is incredible, but oh man, just that opening shot of just. And you're zooming in on it.
Oh yeah.
Every time I watch it, I try and
Which
remember,
window?
Yeah, I think I did it every time, but yeah, it's like which window is he about to just, and then just the shot, and then just. Oh
yeah.
That's right. When in 2007, they did I Am Legend, the IMAX, and part of the thing was you could see the opening scene of The Dark Knight in an extended trailer.
That's right.
And so my brother and I think Tyler and I went up to that same IMAX theater. It's like a 3-hour drive from where we grew up, just to watch that opening, and it was the whole bank sequence. And I just remember there's a shot in there that I love where it's the guy, when they're running, they got on the roof already and they put up the power and he shoots him. There's a shot of him running down a stairwell, one of the clown guys, and it's just like a shot with like the music of like the ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, and like it's just such a cool moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then the whole idea of like them killing each other, and then it culminating with like, no, I killed a bus driver, and then a bus flies through.
Yeah.
Like comic book logic, right?
Of course.
When the bus drives out, it's like the cop behind him would be like, hey, you guys seeing this? Yeah, I think that bus just drove out of the bank.
Why is there a big hole in the wall?
Yeah. But the timing and the scale of that shot is incredible, because I imagine they had to do it a few times, but the camera is like moving, to the side and maybe forward. I don't remember exactly.
As the buses go away, the cops are coming in.
Exactly, the timing of that. And then also too, it's like you got to get the look of the debris coming off the bus, and so it's like they had to set and make sure that the cops weren't too early because they'd see the bus come out, but it couldn't be too late because then the scene just isn't as effective. And so it's just like, man, just the amount of time and scale and people, the whole movie really.
One of the things that I think while watching it for the first time I was like, oh my god, this is incredible, this is crazy, was when on TV there's the show where what's his nuts, Coleman Reese is on there, and he's like, oh yeah, because earlier he was like talking about the designs for to Lucius, yeah. It was like, I don't want this guy to be like, I know who Batman is, and that's like one of the points of this movie. I didn't want that. But when he was on TV, he was like, I gotta do the right thing. The Joker wants Batman to turn himself in.
That's right.
And it was like, oh no. Now I really don't want this. But in a different way. And then when the Joker calls in, it was just like, oh man, this is the coolest thing ever. Where he's like, if Coleman Reese isn't dead in 60 minutes, then I blow up a hospital.
Yeah.
It was like, holy I never saw that coming.
Yeah.
It was so good. And the Gordon and the police are all standing around waiting to go do something, and they're seeing it on TV, and he's like, oh my god, new game plan. You guys, hospitals, and like, we're gonna go get Reese. Oh man, that was so intense.
That is a great scene because he's directing everybody. He's like, go to whatever, the priority is General
you, come with me.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And then like,
We're going to get Reese.
yeah.
Yeah, the priority is Gotham Central? Yeah, but like, oh man, that is such a good scene.
And just even the idea of like the being in the car and Batman is having Alfred text Gordon people who have them, and he sees I'm getting chills, and he sees the name, and then he looks up and he's like, Ramirez, isn't it? Or no, Ramirez is the girl. He says something. He says the name, and the guy's like sweating, holding the gun. What a great moment. He's like, what does he say? Like, put down the gun, son, or something like that. And then he has to like, then the Batman does the crash. But Oh, because there's a guy in a truck who's like somehow knows Coleman Reese.
Waiting at the light,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Oh, that's got to be."
I can see through all these windows.
Yeah.
And then they actually blew up like an abandoned building. Like that's an actual straight up whole huge building they blew up. And Heath Ledger didn't look. They only did it once, and so he didn't get to see it. He was doing the whole walk away, and they decided like he wouldn't look. And there's also, you can see it. There's a deleted shot of him on the bus driving by it as it exploding. That's a really cool shot, but obviously it's not in the movie.
Yeah.
And just that hospital. Oh, then he does the hand sanitizer. Which, according to you, that was probably just an accident or something.
Well, he didn't know they were going to have that on set.
Yeah, right.
He's probably surprised there was actually sanitizer in it.
I wonder if that's in the script. Not with me, but at my parents, I have the Dark Knight script book. I wonder if it's in there, like on page 185,000.
Probably, because otherwise, in that, I guess they probably just filmed it in a real hospital. I was like, if they built that set, they probably wouldn't have put sanitizer in it.
All right.
So if there is, I don't know. Anyway, that's not that point.
Well, we don't actually see it, so maybe he just, like.
Don't you start.
Well, doesn't it look like?
I don't know.
It looks like there's liquid in my hand, right? Going back to Rachel Dawes' death, that scene, that whole sequence we were talking about, like them out the curb, and then the Joker's like escaping in prison, and it culminates with him like hair out the window, fantastic. But what's really cool as just like a character moment is Batman bursts through the door, and Harvey Dent's like, "No, why are you coming for me?" So Rachel's
music changes.
Yeah, and Rachel's last words are hearing him get rescued, saying, "No, don't come for me," and so she knows no one's coming for her. And so she's like, "Harvey, it's gonna be okay," and she blows up. But
Listen,
like her dying moments, her dying moments are hearing him get saved, knowing she's about to blow up because there's no one around.
It's messed up.
Yeah, that's hard. Of course, she's probably glad that she's not around to see him, almost murder children. But I'm sure she'd rather be alive than dead, ultimately.
It's valid. I don't think she knew that he was going to.
Well, no, she wouldn't marry him if she did. Like, yes, I will marry you, but...
You gotta stop murdering Gordon's family.
I'm not okay with some of these things. And there are a lot of great character moments like that. Of just kind of... like, choices that have to be made. And another small one is Alfred with the letter from Rachel. And he, like, takes it and everyone's like, what's that? And he's like, another time. Like, Batman probably like, well, I kind of want to read it. But anyway, the point is...
It's probably like, that's some business thing I don't care about right now. Like, I don't want to hear about the money we don't have.
Why would Alfred be coming to bring his boss, who's sobbing, he's like a son to him, about his dead love of his life, and he's, also, here's the tax
stock market today.
This is very important. You have a meeting at 2 p.m. talking about subsidies or whatever people do, businesses. But anyway, the decision changes in the second one about like the letter, or the third one, sorry, the letter, and then even Gordon's decision at the end. But like that is a hard choice that Alfred is taking on himself, where it's like, I know that this dude is in pain, and I'm not going to show him this letter.
Yeah,
it's like but he's being responsible for a decision that's not really his, you know what I mean? And so that's interesting. And then also at the end with Batman deciding to be the bad guy, like it actually ends on kind of like an Empire Strikes Back dark note, dark, almost, because the villain essentially won, because even if the Joker didn't blow up those fairies, he said, like, he's going to bring down the White Knight, right? Like, he took the most good person and made him corrupted to the point where he's literally having a gun to the head of a child. Like, you can't get more corrupted than that. In a PG-13 movie.
There we go.
And then so it ends with Batman being on the run, Rachel Dawes is dead, Harvey Dent is dead, the Joker's won. But when you're watching it, you don't really feel that way. Right? Because it didn't feel like, it wasn't, Christopher Nolan never makes movies as like part of a trilogy, right? That's what he had said.
Yeah.
And so it didn't feel like oh, this is just part one. Like for Endgame, for example, or Infinity War.
Yeah.
It's like it ends, spoilers, it ends with they all dying, but you know there's a part 2. Whereas The Dark Knight, you didn't know there was a part 3. You could assume.
Well, yeah. But
anyway, the whole point I'm trying to make is that it ends and it's like, wow.
yeah, like everything has fallen apart, but like there's still, I don't know if hope is the right word, but there's still like a...
Yeah, it doesn't feel like an open ending.
Yeah.
It just feels like a bummer ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is an interesting choice to make for a superhero movie.
Yeah, it kind of feels like we did survive the fallout, but there is still fallout.
Right.
Like, not we stopped the bomb. Yeah, well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The shot of him on his bat pod driving away from the trailer was, I had never assumed that shot in the trailer was going to be the last shot of the movie.
Right. That was cool, the bat pod. I remember seeing pictures of it and thinking like, but it ended up being really pretty awesome. And flipping the truck. Oh man, that's right. No, I remember seeing in the trailer the truck flipping was just incredible.
Yeah.
Because the idea that they like actually flipped a truck in downtown Chicago.
Gotham.
Yes. Yes.
Oh yeah, that was another, every time getting into vehicles from that point on was always, I want to drive. I would quote that endlessly.
Yeah. I remember seeing someone filming, and that's how I knew Scarecrow was at the beginning of the movie. Because they were filming from across the way. You could see in the garage of like Scarecrow walking around and stuff. And there were lots of shots of like the Batmobile driving around Chicago.
It would be so cool. Just be living your life, you're looking down, and the Batmobile is just driving down the street.
Yeah, like if you didn't know it was coming. Yeah, I remember, I guess it was after Batman Begins. We drove around Chicago once. I remember trying to look at the buildings to see which one was Wayne Enterprises.
I jumped when the mayor is talking to Dent, and boom, Batman hits the window.
Yes.
Oh man, that got me.
Yeah, that's a moment when I'm watching with people who've never seen it that I wait for to see them smack into the... It's just such a great movie in the sense that like it feels like it has a huge scale, but also like actually an effect on the city. Like you get the feeling that this is like things are falling apart because they're obviously crowd shots, but there are a lot of reaction shots of different like characters like watching the Joker at the end, like in the bars and stuff like that, and it's like, oh, also the ferries might be closed, and like you see the shot of like all the traffic, like
you can feel the panic of the
yes.
people, like what are we gonna do in the city? I forgot about that. The Joker talking on TV about.
Yeah. Well, he's not really talking. Kind of. It's upside down.
That's well,
guy,
it's yeah.
Michael C. Hall.
I forgot about that. I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah,
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say that I just remembered? Oh, yeah, way earlier when he was saying when they go and they find those two guys dead in the apartment or whatever with a newspaper.
That's right.
Yeah, that was really cool, and that felt like, I don't know about like comic booky or something, but it felt like clues.
Yeah.
You know, like the Joker's doing things to let them know what's gonna happen, and that was like, oh no.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. Doesn't he say
that with names circled?
Yeah, and he's like, look at the name tag. Or did he say look at the date? The date the next day or something?
I don't know.
Which means the Joker printed off a fake newspaper.
But if memory serves, because there was two names, like first name, last name, last name.
Harvey Dent.
Yeah, one was Harvey and one was Dent. But I'm pretty sure that it was like Patrick Harvey.
Ah.
Patrick.
You think they? You think they named it after you?
Yeah. Nolan was like, that kid, that college kid from Minnesota, well, high schooler at that point if they were filming it. Anyway.
Oh yeah, they would have been filming it while we were in high school. Yeah. Oh no. Oh, the convoy sequence, obviously, but like they're all building up and they're like, roads we cleared on your route, and like he's doing the speech and then Harvey Dent saying, but
I was thinking like
military
military
the main scene of the movie.
No, like Godzilla with
Oh, gotcha. And then like they're doing the whole coin thing, and she's like, "Oh, you make your own luck or whatever," and then the door shuts, which I always thought was funny. That it's like Harvey Dent is clearly saying goodbye to this woman, and some SWAT guy is like, you're done."
Nope.
He literally slams it in his face.
But he was probably standing there waiting for him to finish talking to this girl, like, ugh.
He's like,
"You got your coin, let's go."
Anyway, so the scene starts, and then the sound goes out. You got that amazing low shot of them like crossing the bridge with the helicopter, and then it cuts to the wide, and the music goes.
That's right.
And they come around, and then you see the fire truck burning, which is just awesome. And then like, you know, the truck pulls up next to him, and then.
Well, there's some things doing down there.
Oh yeah, yeah, that guy. Right, you know that guy we talk about. Like, it's fine, but it's hilarious to me how it's like you're SWAT, like you're the elite of police. So it's like he had to have been through all this training. He lives in Gotham, so this for sure isn't his first rodeo. But all of his lines are like, it's like his first day on the job, and he's never been a cop before because he's like,
this is crazy.
Yeah, he's just like acting as if, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know, he accidentally got in the wrong car. Like he was going to a costume party as SWAT, and then he ends up.
This really isn't good.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's not good.
Okay, that's not
Yeah,
good.
and the driver is Gordon, but I bet Gordon the whole time is just like, shut up.
I should have picked a different member.
You should have picked a better spot.
Yeah.
But no, and then the truck pulls up and it says like slaughter, you know, so and then the door opens and there's the Joker.
Yeah.
Like, and he's not like
Is that a
talking.
bazooka?
Yeah, but the Joker's like not talking. He's just.
Yeah, so his face, his expression.
Right. Yeah, it's just so.
Oh, God, he's so good. Just the way he's like hanging out, you know, stabilizing himself, obviously in a moving vehicle, but he's just like,
Yep.
gets a different gun.
And then-
So good. God, I love him.
Batman's all like, I don't kill people, but then in that scene, when he smashes the garbage truck up into the ceiling, it's like that dude is just smushed and then dragged like 150 feet. Like, there's nothing left of that guy, you know, and then Batman just backs up and turns around.
Well, if he doesn't know he did it, he can't have broken his rule.
No, that's true, that's a good point. And he like jumps over a cop car to like hit the thing, get blown up. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh! When the truck first shows up and hits that SWAT truck and it flies off into the water and you got that wide shot.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just, like, so awesome. You'll need a lot more to get through this.
Bazooka?
Oh, and then the helicopter gets hit by the wires and crashes, and the truck flips, and Batman's driving through like a mall and spins around on the wall.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
great.
Yeah. That, I feel like the first time I saw that, I was like, that was a little weird. Just like a little robotic and transformery for the wheel to just flip around and come back down. Like, not that we didn't already see it like coming out of them.
Yeah.
But
That when he's like, there's a Batman, when he's
now there's a
Yeah.
Batman.
So in the trailer, it kind of ends, well not ends, but part of it ends with the Bat pod spinning around the Joker and we're like,
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
hit me.
yeah. And someone, I don't know who, was saying it was like, oh, he was crashing, and I remember being like, no, he's just doing like a cool drift maneuver, but in the movie he actually is crashing. And so I thought that was interesting, where it's
Well,
like,
he was trying to drift and he just failed.
but yeah, I just thought it was gonna be like a, but
Yeah.
and that's also interesting where he was like, Batman in that scene where the Joker's like, come on, hit me, and he's shooting at him, you know, shooting the car, which, by the way, that guy is still driving down there for some reason, like, oh, I made a wrong turn, ah! But, like, Batman,
That's true.
Batman's coming at him, and Batman, like, yells as if he's, like making a decision. It's like,
Yeah,
so,
like, I want to hit him, but I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Ah!
could you imagine if he had just the Joker go flying like a ragdoll, and then, yeah, he probably wouldn't be dead. But also, it's like, you could have, you know, you didn't have to crash.
Well, if he had made the decision earlier to just like skid next to the Joker and then jump off and kick him in the face or something, but he was like, I want to hit him, I want to hit him, I want to hit him,
And then last
but I
minute,
can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, be like, I should take this exit. Yeah, let's do it. Like, no,
Also, like,
you should have committed.
it's like a little pedal bike is what you were just doing.
I remember when he's after Batman crashes,
Same
when the
scene.
Joker.
Oh yeah,
The guy in the ground.
spits at him.
Yeah, that people in the theater laughed. They thought it was funny, but I was just like, the Joker is so cool.
Yeah.
And like, I haven't seen a character like this before, like ever.
Mhm.
And just him, like, he's so dark in his like sense of humor or whatever. So when he was doing that, I was just like, this is cool. Also, doesn't he only have doesn't he drop that? Because he only has a knife when he's like skipping up to him. I don't know.
Well, I don't remember him having a trombone at all in the movie. So.
That's the.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right. It came out July 18th. I was thinking the other day. I was like, I think it came out July 18th. I was right.
Ta-da.
Yeah. Oh. The Joker line.
Yes. Yes, it is. I love at the end when Batman throws the Joker off, the way that he's laughing as he's falling right before he gets caught in the thing, and then when he's pulling him up. But the way the camera, because he's upside down, and then the camera makes it so he's right side up. So they're both right side up when you're looking at him, but his hair and jacket are still going up. It's so good.
Yeah.
The lighting on his face as his jacket's moving and he's like kind of rotating a little bit, where he's like, where his face is in the light, and then as soon as the shadow covers it, it's just dark, and his eyes are dark, and the red is so dark, and it just looks so cool. Oh man,
he looks like a ghost.
Oh
yeah, that's something that like the Joker that I really love is I feel like with his look, you could put him in a horror movie, and like it could actually be pretty creepy. Like obviously remove all the Batman Gotham City stuff, but it was just like this guy is like, you know, kidnapping people or whatever. Like he looks creepy, and that's actually something that my girlfriend at the time, we got in an argument because I was saying that I'm gonna let my kids watch this movie immediately, and she was like, no, they'll be scared of the Joker. But I think that kids, if it's in the context of a superhero movie, that they won't get scared. Like they might be a little creeped out by like a specific moment, but overall they're not gonna like have nightmares of the Joker because it's a Batman movie.
I was just thinking about the Brian Douglas scene, how like, probably because Bruce Wayne and Alfred are watching a TV with a guy showing them a video that had been recorded earlier of the Joker. So you're like removed from the horror, right? Yeah. But like that was so dark and so like scary. Where like the Joker kills a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the body that slams and hits. But then I was thinking, I completely forgot about the scene where he kills Gamble. But the pool cue.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny too, that scene with him on the TV where he's like, tell us your name. It's like, the news reporter's like, we're going to show you this video. We warn you, it's disturbing. And it's like, they would never show that, would they? Maybe. I don't know, but it just seems like, oh, a sadistic madman is torturing this dude live. Well, not live, but on TV. Like, I bet his wife is like, doing the dishes, and they're like, what the?
Like Brian Douglas. That's my husband's name.
Yeah. He was out fighting crime last night. Now
He
he's
never
dead.
came home. Now I know why.
But how traumatic would that be?
Very.
And I love too at the end when Joker's laughing and it cuts. That little, they made a gif of that, and it's like a meme where it's like girls drinking on Snapchat. Thumbs up laugh.
That's pretty good.
So this whole channel came about with Patrick saying I could talk about The Dark Knight for 6 hours. But we're obviously not going to do that. However, there are so many more lines, scenes, moments, thoughts we've had about specific things, memories, that we could just talk forever.
We could just quote the whole movie.
We could literally just, yeah. I could probably write an outline, scene for scene, with probably 86% accuracy.
84.
86. But yeah, so if you have any interesting, cool little memories about The Dark Knight, you know, maybe like a funny thing that happened or whatever, anything you want to share, like feel free to put in the comments. Kind of the whole point of this is to just talk about movies we love and why we love them, and just all of the fun memories we have built around them, because, you know, we love movies and they shape kind of your life. Like, it becomes a part of who you are. Like,
it's not just like when you watch the movie, you loved it, and then it's over and done.
right.
Like, The Dark Knight has been with us for 12 years.
Right. And like it affects your thoughts, because like we were talking about different things where we say quotes, like there are triggers that will then remind us of this movie. Like,
yeah.
It's just in our subconscious.
Say it! Well, this has been our first of hopefully a whole lot of videos.
We plan on releasing one every week.
Yes, every week.
Just different movies that we love throughout our lives. So, like, comment, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. That's a thing.
Yeah, I've never rung a bell. I don't know anything about that, but y'all should.
You've never rung a bell in your entire life. I'm Levi.
I'm Patrick.
And this has been Levi and Patrick Went to the Movies, The Dark Knight.